Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So the roadmap has been updated again. It is that time of the week. Kicking off with 3.3 for characters. Clovis Darneely is at 15 out of 19 tasks. Rico Battaglia is at 17 out of 32. The Virgil True Def Pro Armor, which is looking very cool, and we've seen a little bit of this throughout the week, is at 19 out of 20 tasks, so only one more left for that one. The RSI Odyssey Flight Suit Rework is at 3 out of 13. And the Hurston Clothing Collection is at 145 out of 154. So they're getting along with that clothing collection very quickly. For locations in 3.3, the Hurston planet is now at 69 out of 78. Last week that was at 66 out of 78, so they're pushing along with that one. The Lorville Landing Zone last week was at 65 out of 137. Now it is at 76 out of 142, so they have completed quite a lot, but they've also added about the same amount of new tasks. And finally, for locations, the rest stop is at 26 out of 42. So in gameplay, the Scramble Race missions is at 22 out of 40. Improvements to the retrieval and delivery missions like the lockers that we saw is now in the polishing phase, so that's completed, along with the mining improvements on planets, that's also in the polishing phase. The FPS combat missions is at 21 out of 25. Last week that was at 20 out of 26. So they are very close, and I'm glad that that's looking promising. It's going to make it in. Asteroid mining is at 14 out of 16. From last week, they've just added a task. The transit system is at 13 out of 20. They've completed one task there. It was at 12 out of 20. Shipboard pinging and scanning is at 19 out of 29. The Arena Commander and Star Marine REC rentals is at 3 out of 8 now. It was at 3 out of 7. Not really too fussed about that. The group system improvements is at 21 out of 31. Last week that was at 19 out of 28, so again they've completed a couple, added a couple. Improvements to turrets have gone from 5 out of 13 to 6 out of 13 tasks, so they're halfway through on that one. And then no fly zones is at 2 out of 13, and the item kiosk shopping improvements is at 3 out of 11. So on to AI. The flight improved AI behaviors is at 3 out of 6. The FPS combat movement smoothing is at 11 out of 13, and they have completed one task from last week. The FPS first reactions is at 14 out of 20, and the FPS search behaviors is now complete and in polishing, so they're slowly going through the AI, which is nice to see something getting completed. For ships and vehicles, the Hammerhead is at 60 out of 106. That was at 56 out of 106. The Mustang Alpha is at 30 out of 63. All the other Mustang variants remain the same. The Constellation Phoenix is at 30 out of 73, so they're pushing through it, but there's still a lot left to go. And for the Cyclones, the AA is at 3 out of 36, the RC and RN are at 4 out of 11, and the TR is at 1 out of 11. So for weapons, the Castak Arms Kana is at 17 out of 28, the Dominance Ship Series of weapons is at 7 out of 24, they have just added a task for that one, it is now at, it was at 7 out of 23, and the Attrition Ship Series have added a task as well. That last week was at 11 out of 29, it's now 11 out of 30, so whatever they are adding, it goes hand in hand with each weapon. For Cortec, the VoIP and FOIP feature is at 16 out of 36. They have completed 2 tasks and removed 2 tasks, it was at 14 out of 38. Environmental Blending Shader is at 7 out of 9, only 2 more left on that one. For General Performance Optimization, it is at 15 out of 42. And network bind culling is at 22 out of 27. So for object container streaming, the main overall object container streaming is at 5 out of 15. For background spawning, it is at 184 out of 198. So they are burning through that background spawning. Only a few left to go there now. For asynchronous background spawning, it's at 36 out of 38. For game object extensions conversion is at 67 out of 69. And finally, the code conversion is at 66 out of 79. So again, so close to getting them complete. Most of them only have 2 to go. The code conversion is getting along there quick, but there's still a few on that one left. So for 3.4, just a few on these. For locations, the Arccorp Planet, Area 18, and the Lorville Business District is now in scheduled. So they've just got to put some resources on that. Arccorp's Moonwalla is at 2 out of 7 and Lyria is at 1 out of 7. We have seen that on ATV in the concepting stage. It looks incredible. Can't wait to see more on them. For gameplay, the FPS ping and scanning and quantum travel improvements are now in scheduled. The FPS stealth combat for AI so allowing us to sneak past the AI. And for AI to quantum jump in flight and strafe, they're all scheduled. For ships and vehicles, the Anvil Hawk is at 9 out of 65, the 300i is at 12 out of 80, the 315P, 325A and 350R is at 1 out of 10, the 600i and the Reliant is scheduled and the Lancers have no change. For core tech, the hard surface, shader improvements and general performance optimizations are both scheduled as well. So for 3.5, in terms of gameplay, the service beacon Escort has moved into production and is now at 0 out of 1. The Banu Defender is now at 11 out of 96. The parallel network job, so this should allow for increased player count per server, is scheduled. The lobby refactoring, this is your pre-tech for the server meshing, so we won't see any benefits, but it is necessary when server meshing gets implemented, is at 1 out of 7. Now finally, for 3.6, the Comare revision is now scheduled. FPS AI combat styles and flight combat styles are both scheduled as well, along with the P72 and the insurance service refactor. So they're starting to get them all scheduled, working out the tasks, and just waiting to get resources on them. So that was this week's roadmap update. Do let me know your thoughts, guys. Object container streaming is coming along so quickly. And on tomorrow's Star Citizen Sunday, the RTV was all dedicated to object container streaming. So if you wanted to know more about what it is and what it does, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get to see that tomorrow. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow me over on Twitch, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to me here, and I shall see you next time.